Once upon a time in the quaint little town of Pastryopolis, there was an unusual patisserie that sprang up overnight like a mushroom after a cosmic rain. Its signs swirled with colors that didn't exist on Earth and had a name that could only be pronounced with a mouthful of marbles: Zlorex's Intergalactic Dessert Emporium. The proprietaire was an alien named Zlorx, an outcast from the planet Blargensnorf who had been exiled for his unconventional baking methods involving anti-gravity and quantum chocolate. Undeterred, Zlorx decided to start anew on a little blue planet renowned for its love of pastries, Earth. He was determined to fit in, with a twist. His creations wouldn't just be delicious, they'd be cosmic. Zlorx learned the human ways by watching a marathon of baking shows he corralled via his spaceship's antenna, mistaking the flower explosions for miniature supernovas. He took notes with his 7 tentacled arms, each wielding a different spatula. On his grand opening, Zlorx introduced his fellow Earthlings to the Milky Way eclair. One bite into these cosmic pastries caused tiny glittering stars to dance on the diner's taste buds, literally leaving them starry-eyed and guffawing with surprise. The sight of constellated lips smiling with delight became a common phenomenon in the Emporium. Next came the Saturn's Rings donuts, a gravitational marvel with concentric rings of colorful icing that orbited the donut when you blew on them gently. Biting into one required careful timing and agility, turning each bite into a laugh riot as customers tried to leapfrog their eagerly awaiting teeth over the spinning sugary loops. The belly laugh-inducing cosmic cupcakes were topped with dark matter chocolate frosting, a mystery to the mind and palate, which, upon lifting the cupcake, made customers feel either light as a comet or as heavy as a neutron star, based on their mood. Cue the hysterics as people floated or were hilariously anchored to their chairs, finishing their mystique-infused confectionery, but the pièce de résistance was the meteor macarons. Upon consumption, eaters would levitate ever so slightly, filling the room with floating patrons, their laughter mingling with delighted screams. It wasn't an uncommon occasion for someone to bump their head gently on the ceiling, to which Zlorx would just shout, "Mind the cosmos," which only fueled their mirth. Zlorx became a legend, his emporium a hotbed of hilarity. Day after day, the quaint little town of Pastryopolis echoed with the sounds of joyful chortles and otherworldly, delicious oops. His neighboring bakery rivals, initially skeptical, grew to adore the floating confectionery wizard. They'd pop in for a Big Bang brownie when they needed inspiration or a levitating pick-me-up. Yes, Zlorx might have been leagues away from his home planet, but here on Earth he found his true calling. After all, what's more universal than laughter and a good pastry? And so the cosmic baker thrived, proving that no matter how far from home you are, you can always find a place where you belong, especially if you bring interstellar-class sweets and a side of giggles to the table.